Welcome. Well, I'm feeling like a drink tonight, but I'm drinking Coke instead. I was at the supermarket just then. I bought some treats. I've been just watching movies lately, nothing exciting. Still really tired, which is interesting. Have you been tired on this alcohol-free journey as well? Let me know. What are you drinking? How are you feeling as we're going through 33 alcohol free? We're up to video 30. Have you caught all the other videos? 29 of them. Wow. It's a full series, 33 alcohol free. Start with a quote. Orison Sweet Maiden. The golden opportunity you are seeking is in yourself. It is not your environment. It is not in luck or chance or the help of others. It is in yourself alone. What we need is apparently already in here. Our zest for life, apparently. Trudging forward, alcohol free. Well, are you deciding to go moderation? I'm still in the thinking of moderation, even though last night's video was all about how moderation can make it harder, and because we do have a relationship emotionally and physically with alcohol already. Our body will expect us to be drinking a lot if we start drinking, and we'll start releasing chemicals to counteract our alcohol at such a bigger amount because it's expecting us to be drinking at a bigger amount. So it's interesting, the chemical balance thing. We're sort of, who knows? Listen to yesterday if you want to know what I'm rambling about. But today, tough love. Let's be a bit tough on ourselves. I need that tonight. See how we go. As we are in the last 2 days of this experiment, I'm going a little bit longer, 33. So with the last days of our experiment, it's time for some tough love. Please know today's lesson is written with love and compassion. Here we go. I think we're going to get a uppercut. At the end of the day, the key is unlocking how you handle alcohol is on the inside. How we handle alcohol is inside. You are the only one who can make the change. The choice is yours. No one else can do it for you. And you have a unique opportunity right now to take complete responsibility of your actions going forward. Okay. We spend so much time thinking, I would drink less if my life was less stressful, or if my husband or wife hadn't left me, or I wouldn't be drinking so much if my kids were nicer to me. I don't have that issue, which is good. Have you dealing with kids? It takes a whole new level of life management when you've got kids to deal with as well. There's always a reason or an excuse for drinking too much. The truth is, the train runs only one way. Toot, toot, it runs forward. Train only goes in one direction. Based on your personal physiology and the active nature of alcohol, things are only going to get worse over time. You'll build up tolerance and need more and more alcohol to deal with the cravings of it. You'll drink more and more. Look at your friends and relatives who choose to drink. Are they drinking more or less than they did 5 years ago? Interesting. Have a think of your friends. Are they drinking more throughout the years? Depending on the age, they might be drinking less than they did back in the booze-soaked college years in the 20s, but in general, what have been the progression during normal post-college adulthood? Hopefully this experiment has taught you to be mindful about your drinking habits. It has given you the power to look at behavior from a different perspective. We're looking at it and we're gaining knowledge that maybe I wish I didn't know. I'll be thinking about alcohol differently after reading this book. The truth will set you free. If you go back to mindless drinking, you could be headed somewhere you don't want to go. Self-medicating with alcohol is not a long-term answer to anything. In fact, it's the opposite. It only increases stress, depression, and anxiety. If you've got real-world problems, drinking is only going to mask them in the short term and make things worse in the long term. It doesn't sound like a fun spiral, that. I consider myself lucky to have started looking at my drinking when I was still in control of the situation. After the first or second time I drank in the morning, I took a steep step back and started to make a life-altering decisions. Making those decisions. The longer you delay making changes, the harder it will be. Your brain will become accustomed to the alcohol. Remember that dopamine is one of the feel-good chemicals that your brain releases to experience satisfaction and pleasure. I can't get no satisfaction, though I try with alcohol, and I try. Yeah, alcohol destroys dopamine receptors over time, which means you'll have a harder time getting pleasure from everyday activities like playing with your kids, just playing chess with a friend, or going to the movies. The longer you're on the train, the harder it is to get off. So ask yourself, where are you headed? Where are you headed? Where is that train taking you? Toot, toot. It's alcohol train. What does the future look like if you don't make a change? What's your life going to be like for you a year after this experiment? How about 5 years? This is not fun. How about 10 years if we don't make a change now? Whatever alcohol is costing you now, it's actually going to be costing you even more in the future. Remember our why. Think back to why you started this experiment in the first place. You wanted to shift, to pivot, to make space for a better tomorrow. And you may even be searching for your true purpose in this world. How are you meant to give back? How are you ever going to do that if you're not your best self? Walking into a room, being able to be your best self. You've come so far in the past few weeks. Really, you have. You're amazing that you've pushed through. You're doing great. And you owe it to yourself to put some thought and intention into how you want to go forward from here. How do you want your life to go? How do you want your life to go? Does it make you sad or bummed out to say, I'm never going to drink again? Is there an emotion attached when you say, I'm never going to drink again? Do you feel like you're missing out? Part of me does. That's the case for so many drinkers. They have lots of memories of drinking with their friends and having wine with their spouses, and it's sad to set an ultimatum to never, ever touch alcohol again. You might get to that point, and that's great. But ultimatums are like, I'm never going to drink again, set you up for failure. It's like going on a diet and saying, I'm never going to have chocolate again as long as I live. Never is a long time. Saying I'm never going to drink again, yeah, it seems like, because I've had some cool nights on alcohol and do feel a bit like, man, I'm going to miss out. So instead of that, try setting some non-negotiables for your life. These are promises you make to yourself that allow you to make conscious decisions about your drinking. But if you cross over a certain line, then you return to a longer period of abstinence. Okay, that sounds interesting. So Having lines set in place, and you're allowed to go to that. If you go over that, then you have an abstinence clause that you have to do maybe 33 days, and you have to watch these videos again. Sorry about that. That won't be fun. That won't be fun. But having preset line to where you're allowed to go to. It's important that you don't consider this as a punishment for screwing up. That would be interesting. It's not a punishment. Okay. It's simple, a line in the sand that you're drawing for yourself. It actually gives you more control over your own behavior than if you leave your drinking up to chance. One of my own non-negotiables was about memories. This is interesting. Annie said that she was never going to get so drunk that I black out and forget things. Or another one, she said, I'm not going to sacrifice my memories of family vacations or social gatherings because I'm drinking too much. She wanted to, yeah, it makes sense, remembering what you're doing. Or I'm never going to drink so much that I puke the next morning. Or the same night. Before you return to drinking, reflect on your drinking days. At what point did you go too far? Ponder over the next day. Over this day, if you're watching it in the morning, over tomorrow for me, I do these at night. Ponder, when were you in your drinking stages? When did you go too far? Draw your line in the sand and stick to it. Work out your line. If those behaviors start creeping back into your life, return to this experiment and try it for, she says, 60 or 90 days. Ooh. It doesn't matter how many times you catch yourself and return to abstinence. What matters is that you catch yourself sooner and sooner each time. Yes, so this is just the first step of maybe bigger ones, 60 days, 90 days. What matters is that you catch yourself, okay? And you reflect after each episode whether it's worth it to return to drinking. So being in a sober mind to be able to reflect on it and shift rather than it snowballing. And yes, you might decide you're tired of going round and round the whole alcohol game. That's okay too. You can always return to abstinence, and eventually you might decide to stay there. After 60, 90 days, we've done 33. Well, we've nearly done 33. We've done 30. Got another 3 videos to go. Whoa. All right. It's impossible to make these kinds of decisions when you have full control. When you don't have full control. When you're in the grips of craving, something primal takes over you, and a neurological need takes precedence over your conscious desire to do better. So you need to set a non-negotiable line in the sand after a period of sobriety, like this 33 days we have done. You are in full control of your faculties, and you make rational decisions without cravings or emotional addictions influencing you. So we're in a point where we can actually start making these shifts without such a strong pull. We've put ourselves in a really powerful place. Go us. When you make a firm decision about something, it's so much easier. You don't have to go round and round in your brain whether you should stay sober for a while or not. You know the exact point of what you need to do. I think it's because I have set this 33 has made it easy, and I've set that I'm doing it for 33. So I had already made that decision. So I guess carrying the power of that into my future, what she's saying is true and powerful. You just do it and you get your life back on even keel. When people successfully complete a period of sobriety, they feel so confident and happy. They know they can handle anything that comes their way. They finally have control over their drinking habit. It breaks my heart to see that these same people completely blindsided when they find themselves reverting back to old behavioral patterns, it will be so easy just to slip back into the old after this experiment. And they don't see it coming. And worse, they are so cruel to themselves when it happens. Their self-esteem completely disappears. If they could physically beat themselves up, they would. So please, don't let this happen to you. You're on a process, and you may come back up and down a few times. It is part of the process of coming out. And just be kind with yourself through this, please. As long as you realize you could slide backward at any time, you will remain vigilant. Use the tools I've given you in this chapter to monitor what's happening in your life and make the decision you want freedom and control over alcohol more than you want to drink. I want freedom and alcohol, freedom from alcohol more than I want alcohol, which means that quitting forever is always a possibility if it is necessary. Don't beat yourself up if you find yourself backsliding. Learn from your mistakes and move forward again. If you allow it, you can get stronger. We can use those falling downs as a way of reassessing and making ourselves stronger as we're going through this process. And every time we come back, we're learning and making that our normal. I also want to reframe your decisions of success. Okay. When I worked, Annie says she worked in a corporate world, we often celebrated a 5% increase in sales or a 10% decrease in costs if you made 10% reduction in how many calories you ate each day or 20% improvement on how many times you went to the gym. That would be huge. Yet for some reason we have this idea that we're either 100% perfect and we're failures when it comes to alcohol. Yeah. So she's saying that if 10% increase in sales is huge, or 10% decrease in costs, that is huge for a business. But in alcohol, we seem to, think about it differently. So let's look at it in a different way. If you normally drink every night, then by making it 30 days without a drink, you've made a 8.2% reduction in your drinking in the last year. If you've done that, congratulations. That is huge. 8.2% reduction in our drinking just by doing this experiment. It's cool. The other thing, if you made it through this experiment but slipped up one day, you've got a 97% success rate. Even if you slipped up once during this, you still have a 97% success rate. You've done really well. If you slipped up 5 times, you're still at an 85% success rate. That's massive. If you have drunk 5 times while doing this video series, you're still 85% successful. 84%, she said, successful. That is massive. And take the experiment again, relearn. What did you learn from this experiment? I love it when people start to look at their drinking in this way. By celebrating the wins instead of the blips, we start to see real positive changes. So looking at it from the whole perspective rather than just, I'm drinking, I'm not drinking, I'm drinking, I'm not drinking. But overall, for the month, how have you done? Stepping back and looking at your drinking over the month, it's not, I'm drinking, I'm not drinking, I've failed, I'm not. No, over this period of time, you've done well. Like she said, 84% success rate. Even if you drunk 5 days, you're still on a good trajectory. By celebrating the wins and the blips instead of the blips, you start to see real positive change. It puts a smile on my face when I go from getting sad emails from people who can't get past day one to excited emails from people who report they now have a 70% alcohol free rating for the month. This reframing can change everything. 70% for the month is awesome, and that's drinking 5 times. Good way of reframing, doing good. So today we're going to realize that real change starts with making commitments and start defining some non-negotiables. So what are those lines in the sand for us that we will not cross? And if you do cross the line, you have a huge warning light flashing saying, whoa, whoa, wait a second, you're heading somewhere you don't want to go. Yeah, crossing your line in the sand is your signal to step back, take another break. Maybe you need another 33, alcohol-free reset. Or maybe you need to go back and read your journal entries. Oh, I'll watch these videos and I'll be talking to myself and I'll be like, yeah, it'll be easier for me just to be watching and listening, pressing play, and probably drinking alcohol, because I think I will come up and down. So it's working out what our line is, the sand. What's your non-negotiable? And what will happen if you do happen to break one of them? Is it take some time to reassess, write this down, do a video, or commit to them in some way. So some reflections. We've got Philip, feeling vibrant energy working its way into all parts of my body from being alcohol free. Inspired me to continue on the path of abstaining. I am working on health and fitness goals and to start drinking again would be counterproductive. I am also looking for a new job, so I'm putting my energy towards things that are priorities. These positive actions will get me out of the booze grave I dug for myself. I now know that daily intention is part of my journey. I know from experience that when I do things mindlessly, they spiral out of control. I hurt people that I love. I hurt myself and I'm unkind to myself. I know the old way of doing things leads to deep despair. Philip. Melinda. Maintaining my clear-headed, energetic self is more important than alcohol. That's powerful. Maintaining my clear-headed, energetic self is more important than alcohol. Experiencing life and situations honestly is more important than alcohol. Facing my fears alcohol-free, working through problems and roadblocks and discovering new things in life and new things about myself are way more important than alcohol. Alcohol is just a substance that seemingly offers temporary relief at best. At worst, it has robbed me of living my best life for too long. No more. I am in control of my life now. That's Melinda. Benjamin. I've decided to remove alcohol completely from my life. Should the time come when it returns, it must never again become anything but an insignificant trifle to be picked up briefly and be put back down again, back in its place. It will never again supplement time with friends and family, genuine connection, joy, and it will never again dominate my conscious or unconscious, subconscious thoughts and intentions. That's Ben. And Susan, the last one. This has been so enlightening. I am grateful to Annie and all the energy she's put into this program. It has worked for me in that my relationship with alcohol has changed. I see it for what it is. I don't know if it will give up alcohol altogether, but this is a process for me. It'll be a process for us. And I know I have the tools now to deal with my non-negotiables. Thanks, Annie. She says, for your hard-won wisdom and your generosity in sharing it with the world. This is a revolution from Susan. Revolution. Well, lines in the sand, that's what it's about. What are your non-negotiables? If we start drinking again, to what level will we go to? And if we find we reduce it back into our life and we go over those, then we'll have to step back again, reassess. But realizing, like she said, even just drinking every now and then, we're still winning. If, like myself, won't be drinking every 3 days. I don't think I'll ever do that ever again. Like big drinking sessions every 3 days. I will have a line in the sand if I decide to. I'm still deciding. I don't know. I'll wait till this. My focus is just to finish this video series, and we'll see. So today, if you reached this far, put a sandcastle or something to do with sand. Put the beach or the waves, something like that in the back picture there. If you made it this far, let me know that you're part of the elite. You made it all the way through the video. Sandcastle, sand, waves, something beachy. You know, cheers. Let's have a drink together. Chink. I'll see you tomorrow, video 31, and we're gonna see what's next. What is next? What's now? Remember, sand theme emoji at the bottom, and I'll see you tomorrow.